Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Kids Yoga Podcast. My name is Jessica Munges, and I am the host and creator of the show. And for this month, I'm going to give beginning of episode shout-outs to whoever joins my Patreon page. If you're interested in joining and making a small monthly contribution towards the podcast, which will give you early access to episodes and other benefits, please go to my website, www.thekidsyogapodcast.com, and follow the link there for Patreon. From there, once you join, I will give you personally and your yoga business a little shout out at the beginning of an episode, and also direct people towards your social media and website. So I can't wait to see who's going to join our Patreon community. Thanks for listening. Hi, and welcome to the Kids Yoga Podcast, the place for all things kids yoga. My name is Jessica Munges, and after teaching kids yoga for over a decade and being immersed in the industry, I created this podcast as a warm and supportive place for parents, teachers, caregivers, and kids yoga professionals to gather. Episodes include conversations with kids yoga teachers, business owners, and authors, child development experts, informational episodes on specific kids yoga topics, yoga adventures for children, and even the voices of children themselves. It is my hope that you can come here each week and gain inspiration and form connection with your fellow kids yoga community. Welcome to the Kids Yoga Podcast. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, and welcome back to the Kids Yoga Podcast. I'm Jessica, and this week I'm joined by Tara Shayegan. Tara holds a Bachelor's of Health Sciences from Simon Fraser University. In 2010, she began her yoga journey to deepen her physical performance. After practicing for 8 years, she enjoyed daily vinyasa and hatha practice. She then completed her early childhood education, and after another 2 years, her love and passion for working with children took center stage when she discovered her desire to teach yoga to children. She is also 200-hour yoga certified. Within the last 5 years, she completed her 50-hour Rainbow Kids and Family Yoga Teacher Training and her 95-hour RCYT with a trauma-informed focus through Yoga Ed. She began to teach children from infancy all the way up to elementary age. She has taught yoga to children in a variety of settings, such as classrooms, schools, and child care centers, and now her very own studio. Furthermore, while embarking on her own journey of pregnancy, Tara discovered the benefits of prenatal yoga and its ability to support mental clarity in expecting mamas. This inspired her to complete a 35-hour Postnatal Teacher Training, and she is currently in the process of completing her 85-hour Prenatal Teacher Training. She combines her academic expertise with her love of mindful movement in order to create a positive impact on kids' health and wellness. Her classes are welcoming, and she brings engaging and exciting elements into play, like uplifting music, dance, storytelling, and she always ends with a relaxation and fun breathwork. Tara's mission is to inspire each of her students to cultivate confidence, creativity, and self-love. Off the mat, Tara loves spending quality time with her life and business partner, Shayegan, her toddler Pasha, and soon-to-be baby boy, Kiasha. Okay, Tara, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. And yes, it's such an honor to be on your podcast.
Yes, I'm so glad to connect with you and learn all about you and your studio and all the work you're doing. So we'll kind of start at the beginning of yoga for you. So when in your life did you find yoga, and what kind of impact did it have on your life?
Yes. So I started first practicing yoga 10 years ago. So that was kind of in my early early 20s. And I came across a local studio in Vancouver, where I'm currently living in Vancouver, BC, Canada. And this studio offered hot yoga. So all the classes had heated temperature, so about kind of 30 to 40 Celsius, I guess, 100 Fahrenheit.
Ooh, yeah.
So pretty hot, yes. And I absolutely fell in love with the poses, the asanas, just the breathing techniques. And of course, the heat was super awesome because Vancouver is not the most heated city. And just kind of going into that space felt so just rejuvenating. I felt amazing. And then I started practicing Bikram yoga for 2 years. Also heated, another type of heated yoga, which is more kind of structured. And after that, I came across found kind of a home for myself for a local studio that offered not heated, but regular classes with hatha and vinyasa. And I just kind of started practicing those daily, weekly, and that led to kind of my prenatal yoga as well. So I started practicing, continued the practice all throughout my prenatal, postnatal journey, and it's kind of been in my life, it all throughout these years. Yeah.
Yeah. So you sounds like you dove in, loved it, and then you just kept going. Again, you were just finding different styles, and there's so much out there.
There's so much out there, and really finding that home studio for me was the key. The right, the teachers, the instructors that I connected with, and the prenatal was kind of the eye opener for me. That's where I really felt, just that bond, that connection with the mind, body, the spirit. All of that was just really was fascinating for me.
Yeah, I found that too, that the prenatal yoga classes I took were just so special. Even having a yoga practice before, it feels like a completely different practice because there's two of you and you're kind of like, connecting with it's pretty amazing. So is that when you decided to share yoga with kids, or was it before you started doing prenatal?
It was definitely before the prenatal. So prior to prenatal, yoga, prior to becoming pregnant with my first son, which was 3.5 years ago, I was teaching lots of different preschoolers from infancy all the way to toddlerhood, preschoolers, and then after school care, so school age children. And that's my background with early childhood education. So I started working in licensed childcare centers in Vancouver. And I kind of started incorporating some yoga postures for kids. Simple moves, becoming animals, making silly faces, silly, breaths. And they were really interested. The kids were really interested in the classroom. The teachers, it was really new to them. They encouraged me to kind of bring it more. The parents were excited. And I felt that the city was really in need of that. So I kind of studied a lot of things on my own, watched a lot of YouTube videos and resources online. So that kind of led me to complete my, kids yoga teacher training through Rainbow, which was about 4 years ago. And prior to that, I had my 200 hours. So it kind of all was aligned. And, it just kind of, they say the stars were aligned. That was the moment for me where I realized that this is kind of the path I like to take. And then again, I, took on some additional trainings for kids, recently completed my 95-hour through Yoga Ed, which is an international organization. And it's a trauma-informed classes and programs, which were super awesome. And just, the learning never stops, as you know. So I'm always looking for different resources, different workshops. But yes, that's kind of where it led me to teach kids yoga and family yoga.
Right. Yeah. And so now you've started your own studio, and it's the first kids and family yoga studio in Vancouver. And so can you tell me a little bit about that? What sparked the idea, and what inspired you to say, okay, I'm going to open my own physical space now?
Absolutely, yes. So, so my husband and I owned a studio. His name is Shayegan, and him and I were always in kind of had this dream and vision of a space, not necessarily a yoga space, but a space where kids and families can come together. And when I started practicing the prenatal yoga, we felt that the city was in need of a space where everything can kind of come together under one roof. So whether you're pregnant, whether you're expecting parents, adults, mature yoga, kids and families, all of that, we felt that there was not a studio that offered that, or a space that offered that. And that's kind of where the vision of Uphoria came. My husband has a background in business, and him and his family ran one of the most successful tennis academies in Vancouver, in BC. So he had the business background, and his passion was also working with children. And for me, coming with the childhood education and the yoga, it really just felt like that was a path we wanted to take together. And recently we've changed kind of our the classes and programs. We've changed them from studio to academy. And recently, so that we are going to be Vancouver's first family yoga academy. And the reason for that, so it's really exciting. We've just kind of felt the need of bringing that educational piece to our studio, and really bringing, the aspects of yoga, like why really practice it, and how to embrace it, and how to mindfully bring that to the kids and families' lives. And for that reason, we created different pathway programs, which go again from all the way from prenatal parents, expecting parents, postnatal, kids and families, and 3 years old all the way to teenage years. So yes, for that was kind of the vision we had. And really we felt, especially as a mother, when I became a mom, I felt so isolated, and felt, a need to go to a space where I can connect with other people. And this is the vision we had, is for anybody regarding their ability to practice yoga, their age, their experience, anything like that, to come to this space and feel at home, and have a good time, and not necessarily come and get in a advanced yoga poses, or learn a headstand, and just kind of making that really welcoming space. And we feel like we have created that so far, so we're both really proud.
That's so beautiful. And when did you open?
Yes, so we opened just 5 months prior to pandemic.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so it was pre-pandemic. Okay.
Yeah, so quite brand new.
Yeah.
And it's just been super challenging, and we've really kept our vision going, and we worked so hard to open our doors. And every day, since the pandemic hit, we told each other, we are going to stay open. We will do anything we can to keep our community, to keep these parents, these children that are coming to the programs, that are loving the teachers and the instructors, to keep the space open. And here we are. So
yes. Oh, you did it. What did you do during the pandemic? Were you doing a lot of virtual, or
we did have so we did it quite a bit of virtual classes. Again, just being a brand new business, it was really hard to keep the virtual classes going with the adults, especially. But we had a pretty good turnout with our prenatals. I ran a lot of virtual birthday parties, which was super fun. We did a lot of different classes, and family yoga, and we tried really hard. We tried to adapt to what was going on in the world, and we did our best.
Mm.
So yes, that was quite a challenging time for
Oh
sure.
my, I can't even imagine having a new business during that time. It sounds like you really stuck to what your vision is, though, to have this community and the importance of this community, and you stuck through it through, I mean, I can't imagine something harder than having a just, oh,
Yeah.
here's a global pandemic just thrown in the middle here.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. Yes.
but it's so
Yeah.
beautiful. It's that it's open and
Thank you.
to hear it sounds so wonderful because I can completely relate to that feeling of isolation as a new
Hmm.
mom. And I only started feeling better. My daughter was about 2 months old, and I did this new mom support group. It was at a prenatal yoga center. It's called Prenatal Yoga Center in New York City. And
Right.
just that, and then I even met like people I'm still friends with there, because that's such a strong bond. But I think it's so beautiful that then you offer classes um, postnatal and for baby to bring and to have your kids come. It sounds great. Like you can
Mhm.
really stay in the community. You don't phase out. You can continue to grow there.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. And yes, same. Likewise for me and so many other moms I've connected with throughout the years have felt the need to come back and not just to come to practice a yoga class, but to be in a space with other parents. And with a lot of classes, parents are just kind of sitting on their mat and playing with their little ones or feeding or changing. So it's really an open space for everyone. And another kind of idea that kind of led us to open up the space was the toddlerhood stage. So once our son Pasha started crawling, we both kind of felt the need that there wasn't really much in the city to take him to different classes that were kind of yoga related or had a little bit of mindfulness. We have tons of music and soccer, different classes like that, or swimming, but nothing for yoga. And that's where kind of the idea of the parents and toddler classes came, which I created based on my experience, and they've been super popular at the space that we offer. And it's super super fun just to kind of see that parents can still come when the kids are mobile.
Yes,
it doesn't
that's
stop
such
when
a
yeah.
yeah, that's such a I found the same thing when I started my yoga business. I was like, my daughter was in that stage. There was nowhere I could bring her that where I felt like I could bring her and feel relaxed because
Mhm.
every class I brought her to, there were certain expectations. And so the whole time you're just like, oh, they're gonna grab that. You're just like nervous.
Yes,
And so that's why
for
I
sure.
created a class for that age, called it Storytime Yoga. And I made it
Mhm.
not just about the kids, but there was time for the parents. There was free play, so parents would talk and like connect. And it's like the whole
Mhm.
space. I just made one big yoga mat. I was like this. I connected them. I'm like, don't worry, they could wander. And I think for parents, it's like a exhale, like, oh, okay, so I could just kind of relax now. So that's so great.
Absolutely.
You offered that to bridge
Yes,
that
thank
gap
you.
between when they're just laying on the mat and then
Yes.
when they could do more.
Absolutely. And just like the most rewarding thing from that class for me is seeing parents like during Shavasana. I give them, at least 10 minutes at the end to kind of have a quiet time. And, I let the parents know if you just want to lay down and relax or chill, I have your little ones with me. I'm going to be watching them. So even that 10 minutes makes so much of a difference for them. And
Huge
it's
difference.
so, so beautiful to see them leaving with a smile, or just leaving that thank you note, or just telling me that they really enjoyed that last 10 minutes. And that's all that matters. That gives me so much energy to move forward.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. So tell me more about. I had told you you're the first person I'm talking to that's running a business with their husband. So having that family aspect to it, running a family business. And then I'm sure your son is at the studio all the time. So what
Yes.
has that been like to work together and then create this vision together?
Yes, thank you. Um, well, this coming August, well, I guess in a few weeks now, we'll have our 10th year anniversary. So, like it sounds kind of maybe cheesy to say, but my husband is my absolute best friend. So, ever since we met, we've just been super just, connected. And, there's obviously challenges in relationships, but I've never felt like I've been so comfortable with somebody in my life. And choosing that partner in life as also a business just seemed so right to me and to him as well. So we both had this decision of working together and coming to this, bringing this space to the city. It definitely has its challenges. Like I said, there's, at the beginning, especially, we were kind of struggling with the kind of work-life balance, when to kind of draw the line of talking about the business or, having those meetings. So it's just was super challenging at the beginning, I would say. And the pandemic for sure brought us closer, I would say, because we spent more time at home or at the studio together to narrow down more ideas and, kind of set our visions more and have a clear idea of what we want in this business. And I would say that was super amazing, just kind of being together and sharing those ideas. Just now, I think we have a good kind of steady balance of work life. Still, sometimes, we ask each other not to kind of go into the business topics or conversations, but overall, it's been super fun. And I can't just choose. I don't see myself choosing another partner for running this business. So I'm super grateful. And yeah, so Pasha as well, he's definitely been part of our studio or the vision since day one. I would say he's one of the main reasons we opened up this space. And he loves being at the studio, just hanging out on the yoga mat, showing me his moves. He knows all the, where the props are and what kind of to do with them. He loves the yoga books. I bring a lot of them home. We read them together. Affirmation cards. We, look at them together, lots of visuals. He loves the yoga songs that I play. So he comes to weekly classes, and when I teach the family yoga classes, he always came with my husband. And yeah, he just loves being there. And we're super grateful to have this space where he can call a home, a second home.
Yeah, and that's beautiful because it also sets the tone for people coming. They're like, "Oh, this really is a family space. Like you're a family and you're running it." And
Yes.
So that I think probably makes people feel more comfortable too.
Absolutely. And he's made so many great friends just in the classroom. And we've also made, my husband and I, we've made so many wonderful friends and people that we can call friends through our work. And it's just amazing how that can come to to life. And it's we don't see it as a workspace or a 9-to-5 job. It's really just a big part of our life. That's
right.
Yeah, that's what's keeping us motivated.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, out of the full range of what you offer, and that's prenatal all the way up to teenagers, do you have a favorite class that you teach?
Absolutely. Like I said, my specialty classes have been the parent and taught yoga classes. So the crawling babies up to kind of 2.5 when they come with the parents. And the other class that I've been running, which has been super successful, is the family yoga. And that's kind of open to all families. So, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whether it's a mom and dad or one parent, one child. And that class, I would say my favorite one would be family yoga. And it's the reason being, again, that's another reason it led up to open up our business together, was that we really felt that there was a need for this type of class, or just an hour on the weekend where you can, as a family, go to a space, have a little bit of a stretch, dance, bond with your family, laugh. And that's really what my classes are all about. It's a super fun class where you engage with your family members, you do poses together, and you meet other families. So I would say 100% that's my favorite class to teach. And I'm a little sad that I won't be, able to teach it for maybe, first couple of postpartum, not sure for how long, but we have wonderful, wonderful instructors who are teaching, and they're so super fun too. So yeah, it's something I'll definitely miss during my postpartum.
Right. Yeah, we didn't mention Tara is pregnant, and when are you, so we're recording this July 15th. This will be released in August. And when are you due?
Yes. So my due date is end of August,
Okay.
27th. So I'm working up until the end.
You
Until I
don't,
can.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to release this the first week of August. I'm like, you have priority, just in case, let's get the episode out. But that will be,
Yes.
I mean, you've been through a pandemic with your business, so it's like to now add another baby to your family, go through that change. I feel like that's like a happy change. So that I hope that goes smoothly for you, as smoothly as possible, and that it sounds like you've got a good support system going on there.
Thank you so much. I'm super grateful. And, finding out we were pregnant with our second was the most joyous news, especially when it was during the pandemic. And, we were really hoping to have that. And it would feel like this is going to be, that kind of the light at the end of the tunnel, they say. And, that's really the light for us. And we're very, very grateful for everything. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we kind of touched on this question, but I guess I'll just ask it. There might be other things. What has been, I like to ask the biggest challenge in running your business, and then also the greatest reward. So maybe start with the challenge, and then we'll go into the reward.
Yes, absolutely. I would say the greatest challenge has definitely been hitting the pandemic, the worldwide pandemic. Like the rest of the world, we had no idea that was coming our way. We had our first spring break camps for children, which were sold out. I remember the date exactly, March 15th. And on March 14th, we heard the announcement that, this is serious. This is a pandemic. We need to close, and all the businesses will be shut down. So that was the greatest challenge for us, to hit this, and really financially struggling with that. And we're still in the recovery mode. I would say it's things are still not where we want them to be, and we are just working super hard every day and moving forward. And just really just hitting that financially was very, very challenging. And the reason being, here now we wanted to just remain open for our community, and every time we closed and opened, we saw people were excited that we were open, they were coming back. So that kept us moving, and that kept us moving forward with all of our ideas and visions. And of course, having a wonderful team of educators and teachers at our studio. We are so grateful. Everybody was so supportive, and here we are now.
Yeah.
Yes, and so I would say kind of the other positive notes. So the greatest thing that I would say, the greatest reward would be just touching base on the community piece. Seeing all of our community coming back, and parents, some people were pregnant prior to pandemic, and then once we opened, they came with their babies, and that was so nice to see. And just kind of having that incredible feeling, which leads us to our program pathway, because we have this pathway from the prenatal all the way to postnatal and babies and kids and families. So that kind of really was the most incredible feeling for both of us. And yeah, so I would say that's the greatest reward.
Yeah, it's so nice, that pathway, because people can also kind of hop on at any point, like along their journey. Like maybe they find you when they have a 3-year-old, but then they have a baby, so then they go they do those classes. You know, there's so many places for people to kind of find the door and come in.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Yes, it's a vision we've both always wanted to create, and now it's we're really grateful because we feel that it's people, the response we're getting from the community is wonderful, and um, it's just what keeps us going. Yeah.
Yeah. How is Vancouver right now with COVID? How's it? Are
Yes,
things
so
pretty stable, or?
things are definitely a lot better. I would say, the numbers
Mm-hmm.
are definitely lower. We're so blessed that the vaccine rollout was really fast and effective, and um,
Yeah.
people here are really encouraged to get vaccinated. We haven't had
Mm-hmm.
challenges much like some places in the rest of the world where families or parents are kind of against that. So that's been great to have. And
Mm.
businesses are open. Masks are not mandatory if you're fully vaccinated.
Right.
And come September, things will be shifted towards kind of a full capacity. That's the
Mm.
hope, and that's what they're predicting. So yes,
Beautiful.
everything's
Right in
looking
time for a
good.
baby. Then things, like you said, light at the end of the
Yes,
tunnel.
absolutely. Yes, I feel like it was really planned. And when I heard that
Yeah.
date, the September date, I was like, wow, that's when I can really,
Yeah.
because I was really worried about, can I take my baby, outside? What
Right.
if the pandemic is all of that, seeing other
Mm-hmm.
babies, and, and both my husband and I are very like outgoing and social, and we love to have
Mm-hmm.
our babies exposed to as many things from day one. So that is just such a great thing to hear, that is September is where things will be fully open,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's so
lots of
great.
socialization. Yes.
Yes, I know. I know. We're all ready for that for sure. Well, I'd love to
Yes.
hear your kids yoga gem. That's how I always end my episodes, with gems of wisdom that I gather. So for you, what would be your one big piece of advice to someone offering yoga to children?
Yes. There's so many things that I learned throughout my yoga journey and working with children, from early childhood education all the way to teaching kids yoga. Um, but I would say the one thing that always kind of stood out to me, and I always had it in the back of my mind, was about the yoga and mindfulness aspect of sharing that with the children, and how powerful it is. And as educators, nowadays I see so many beautiful techniques and uh, props being given in the classroom to bring that in the classroom, and it's beautiful to see. Um, the one thing that I would recommend in that case, or kind of piece of advice, is to see the children's to see through children's eyes, the world through their eyes. And it sounds kind of maybe cheesy, but really, when as educators, when we're teaching, sometimes we forget their children. Sometimes we forget how old they are, or where they come from, like what they're, especially if you know the child, if they've been to your classes, where they're standing in their life, how their emotions are. And it's important to see the world through their eyes. So really just kind of um, thinking of yourself as that child, and how would you like to be treated, and how you can incorporate those yoga and mindfulness in the classroom to them. Because teaching kids yoga is so different than adults. And for all of our educators, we all know that it takes so much energy, so much passion, and to have that, literally, it's so powerful. And children are so capable, are so intelligent, and having those pieces there for them, it really brings more light and joy to their lives. Yes.
Yeah, I love that, seeing it through their eyes and remembering that. 'Cause I think as adults, we can get really serious, and kids remind us, that it's not so serious. And
Exactly.
I know in my hard teaching moments, when I've maybe gotten stuck or had a hard moment, it's like you can turn it to the kids and they bring you right back. They have amazing ideas and
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, just from experience, going into classrooms, sometimes before the classroom, I always have a little bit of a time to myself to do a quick meditation or just a breathing, to really ground myself to go in the classroom. And you're not always, you're having a happy day, or, you're in their best self to go into teaching. But as soon as I step in the classroom and I see them and see the children's energy, that just kind of really brightens up my mood. And, that's where you really know that's your passion, because you have to be passionate to teach, and, seeing, like I said, the world through their eyes.
yes, 100%, 100%. That's so great. Well, I want people to find you and learn about you and your studio. So can you give everyone your website, your social media, all of that?
Absolutely. Yes. So we've just updated the website with our new Uphoria Yoga Academy. So Vancouver's first family yoga academy. And the website is www.euphoriayoga.com. So that's with the UPHORIA yoga.com. And we're very active on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Our Instagram handle is at Uphoria Yoga. And I have my personal handle, which is Breathe with Tara. And there's a dot after with. So at breathe.with.Tara. And that's where I share a lot of my favorite books on, mindfulness, tips on different inspirational quotes, and different things you can do at home with your toddler from all the ages. And so hopefully we would love to connect with everybody. And I've already connected with so many other educators and studio owners and yourself, and it's been so wonderful how social media can bring people together. And I'm excited to connect more with everybody else.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for sharing all that. And thank you so much for taking the time to have this conversation and for being here. And I'll be following along on social media to see what's going on with you, the studio, and the baby.
Thank you so much, Jessica. And I wish you all the best as well. I want to say a huge, huge thank you for bringing this podcast to life. When I first was searching for a kids yoga, I literally searched on my Spotify kids yoga podcast, and then you were the only one that popped up. And I was so excited to see that. And it's such an isolating world for kids yoga educators, and it's there's a lot of adult podcasts, as I'm sure or different meditations. So seeing this really is amazing, and I want to congratulate you, and also with your baby coming up. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That literally is the dream. And I had one person write to me yesterday saying the same thing, that they found it. I said, how? They're like, I just searched kids yoga podcast. And that's exactly why I started it, because I would do that same thing and it wouldn't come up. I'm like, where is it? So thank you so much for saying that. It means a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I love, speaking with you and sharing all my, journey and experiences. And it's been so wonderful to be on this podcast. Such an honor. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you'd like to support the Kids Yoga Podcast, here are a few ways you can do that. Visit www.thekidsyogapodcast.com. Here you'll see a link to my Patreon page and you will see different monthly subscriptions which will offer you added benefits. You can also contact me through the website and see all of the episodes that have been released so far. In addition, I truly appreciate those 5-star reviews and ratings because it just brings so many more people to the show and it just means the world. So if you feel compelled, a rating and review, and press that subscribe button as well. So if you want to get in touch, shoot me an email, thekidsyogapodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow the Kids Yoga Podcast on Instagram and on Facebook. Again, thank you so much for being here.